Hey Sparks, what the heck is up? So today we actually have a bonus episode. One of two to be exact, so the format will be a little bit different, but with that being said, let's go ahead and Voltron our Ginger Brute and slap our enemies right out of the way. So Colorless Mana is actually kind of weird, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually not a color, despite how much I want to count it as one, but it can be used in any deck. So, including restrictions such as Commander, basically if I was running a green only Commander, I could still use Colorless in my deck even though it doesn't technically match my Commander's color identity. In addition to colorless mana sources such as Soul Ring, Mana Vault, or Basalt Monument can still be used to fill out any color requirements. Example being, let's say I cast a Champion of Wits. I still have to pay for its blue cost, the blue mana, however, the two can be paid with anything, be it color or colorless mana. Colorless really has two definitions in the MTG universe. It's either the type of object, meaning something that can be added to a stack, a card, a copy of a card, a token, a spell, or a permanent, but most commonly it's a type of mana. But like I said before, it's not represented on the wheel. Oddly enough, they do have a basic land they draw their power from, and it's called Wastes. Wastes actually have a really cool backstory. So basically they're blighted areas of the multiverse where the Eldrazi has been. Ironically, these lands were tested under a code called Barry's Land before they were released publicly, and that name actually was very popularized but never made it over. So you might hear other Sparks refer to it as that. Speaking of the Eldrazi, they're actually really cool, and apart from the Phyrexians, and we'll get to them at another time, they basically turn the multiverse on its head, and not only from a lore perspective, but also from a mechanics perspective as well. So up until this point, most colorless objects were dedicated to constructs, magical or mechanical things, and that's just because they needed an energy source, meaning any mana, and it was really just an extension of the user, and they really had no intentions of their own. That's why you see a lot of magical constructs and golems like Aetherflux Reservoir and literally Composite Golem respectively. Now all of this seems like a lot of information. To be fair, it is. But Magic from a lore perspective is really deep and rich if you give it the time. Now, why am I mentioning this? Well, the Eldrazi flipped the scripts harder than Nan faking back pain. The Eldrazi were the first organic representation of the colorless and seemingly had their own purpose. Not to mention, what in the HP Lovecraftian is that? You're gonna tell me that these humans right here have a chance against that? Nah, dude, not gonna happen. So first and foremost, we should definitely talk about the main Eldrazi Titans. We have Ulamog, the Infinite Geary, or Gyre, I'm not sure, I'm kinda dumb. Ulamog has actually been referenced in the lore before, but under his half-forgotten name. The merfolk who mentioned him as Sea God Ula, not knowing what he truly was at the time. He's actually the smallest of the three Titans, and that being said, dude, he's still absolutely massive. His head resembles a bony helmet, but lacks eyes or expression. Most of his body is the color of exposed muscle, and it's covered with bony plate. He moves by writhing a mass of tentacles, stubbed with a bunch of bony spikes below his torso. His two arms split at the elbow, leading to having 4 hands, and the stench of rotting meat and decay and sulfur surrounds him, constantly earning him the nickname the Reeking Titan. Next, we have Kozilik, the Butcher of Truth, and is the inspiration of the Zendikarian merfolk god Kosai and the core god Talib. Kozilik's planar avatar is a titan apparently of humanoid anatomy, but its massive tentacles is placed where its legs would be. It has a complex orifice in the head, and his body is covered with eyes and chitin, and are arranged in dark plates that float above his shoulders that extend from his elbows. These can also be described as creating dark holes in reality. Kozilik is the Titan of Distortion, a reality-slicing nightmare of relentless insanity. He changes the perception of the reality, making it impossible to discern the truth. He twists loyalties and he muddles thoughts. He transforms emotions and induces despair and panic. Finally, we have Imbercool, the Aeon's Torn. It's the inspiration of the Zendikarian merfolk goddess Imera, and dude, she is no joke. Imbercool is the Titan of Corruption and is the largest and most fearsome of the Eldrazi. She does not affect inorganic material like rocks, water, etc., but she twists all living things, be they plants, animals, or any other sentient being. She causes silent terror wherever she soars, embodying desolation and emotional and physical distance, the chill of the void and the terror of being alone. It should also be noted that unlike the others, she allowed herself to be sealed away, telling them that it was not her time yet. Then that alone should scare the heck out of you, considering the amount of effort it took to stop stop those Titans, especially her. Now that you have an idea of what these entities look like, let's go ahead and go deeper on them and show you the real gravity of the situation. These were gods mentioned before, and you can see the resemblance on them. I always love this because it kind of teased these people right underneath our noses. Ulamog being on the left, Imbercool being in the middle, and Kozilik being on the right. Furthermore, Ugin, another colorless mana relationship, a very powerful dragon and brother to none other than Nicobolus, Ugin, who was ascended far past the understanding of what we know as magic, compared the Eldrazi to a man sticking his hand into a pool of water, the man being the Eldrazi Titan, the water being the plane, and the fish being those who dwell on that plane. They only see a part of the man. I don't know, man. If it took that much just to seal away the part of these beings, I don't know what happens when they decide to all in, just saying. So to wrap all this up, the strengths and weaknesses of colorless is really in relationship to what deck they are in. Therefore, they really have none one way or the other. But if I had to mention anything, I would say that they are generally far more expensive than other units as a weakness. But in the same suit, they are accessible by every mana color, so that makes up for their large costs. You will see actually quite a few unique abilities, as A, they can have any ability, but also unique to them and mainly the Eldrazi. You'll also see things like Annihilator, which is particularly brutal when you're attacking because it forces your opponent to sacrifice X amount of permanents whenever you declare an attack. And there's also Devoid. This basically means it's not a color regardless of what's stated on the object. Remember when I said earlier that an object pertained to all of this? Well, basically inside the game or outside the game, it doesn't matter, this card is colorless if it has this keyword. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed the bonus episode. I know for a fact I will be doing some more of these, and if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Consider liking the video and supporting me by slapping that subscribe button. It truly helps so much. And your continued support does it all. It really makes me warm and fuzzy on the inside. But I gotta go talk to Urza real quick and get some information from him, so take it easy. Bye!